في ربوع في ربوع في ربوع المجد كنا نرفع النصر المبين ونعيد الحق إن عبد رب العالمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Today we're going to be addressing the objections from our friends on the Shia side with regards to their claim that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, cursed Ali. Tamam. Now there are three sources that I want to go through today. There's a lot more, but I want to break this down into a series. But there are three sources that I'm going to go through today. The first being Sunan ibn Majah. Now, what does the narration say of him being, and the reference is Hadith 121. What does it say? And you can see it on screen right now. We skip the sanad. عن سعد بن أبي وقاص قال قدم معاوية في بعض حجاجته فدخل عليه سعد فذكروا عليا فنال منه. Okay, so this is explicit that he insulted him. Tamam. Another reference that they go through is, okay, Musannaf ibn Abi Shaybah, Hadith 31459, as you can see on screen. What does it say? قال قدم معاوية في بعض حجاجته فأتاه سعد فذكروا عليا فنال منه. Okay, فنال منه. So again, something similar here. And then the final one that doesn't even say he cursed him, but this is in Sunan ibn Abi Asim, as you can see on screen. It says, okay, قال قدم معاوية في بعض حجاجته فأتاه سعد فقال, and then it goes on and on. So it doesn't even mention that he cursed him. Now, if you look at the asanid for all of these, there's a point of criticism that you can mention. First, okay, is that Abdul Rahman bin Saabit, okay, who's in the sanad for all three of these, he narrates from Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. And as you can see on screen, okay, I don't have the Arabic with me, but Yahya ibn Ma'een, okay, he mentions that, what do you call it? 1 second. I'm going to pull it up right now. Yahya ibn Ma'een mentions that Abdul Rahman bin Saabit, okay, he narrated a lot on the here it is. Yahya ibn Ma'een said he, meaning Abdul Rahman bin Saabit, narrated a lot on the authority of Mu'adh, Umar, Abbas bin Rabi'ah, and Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, and Al-Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib and Abi Tha'laba. He said he did not meet any of them. So there's a disconnection, firstly. Okay. In all of the reports now. Secondly, okay, now that shoots down all three of them in that aspect. Now there's a chain. Let's read out the one in Ibn Majah. حدثنا علي بن محمد حدثنا أبو معاوية. Abu what? Abu Muawiyah. Tamam. Okay, Abu Muawiyah. Now, as you can see on screen, this is Hafiz ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, rahmatullah alayh. He mentions, okay, among, and I don't have the Arabic with me, I only have the English, but you can see the scan on the screen. Among them is Abu Muawiyah, okay? And Imam Ahmad said, okay, in the hadith of Al-Amash, he's proven, but in the others, he's not. And he's confused in the hadith of Ubaydillah, meaning Ibn Umar, and so on and so forth. And if it's not in the ahadith of Al-A'mash, he's disturbed. And in this scan you can see he quotes Imam Ahmad, Ibn Numayr, and Ibn al-Mada'ini, who all held this view. Okay? And Ibn Abi Shaybah. You see, it's easy to quote his Musannaf, okay, but it's not easy to quote his view on this. This is the deceptive nature of the Shia. You can see that he was disturbed. Okay? طيب. And also you can see on the screen is Ibn al-Kharash, rahmatullah alayh. He says on Abu Muawiyah that he is truthful, and in Al-Amash, he's trustworthy. But in other than Al-Amash, he is, turbulent. And this is recorded by Ash-Shanqiti. So he obviously held this view as well. And it's also in Tariq al-Baghdad. But people are going to say it's a Tariq book, and so let's just move that aside. I won't present the scan, but it's also there. But people are going to say it's Tariq. So I'll leave that out. But it's there as well. So you can see that I have top ulama on my side on this. Tamam. Now, as you can see here, there's a disconnection in the chain of all of these, and Abu Muawiyah, was disturbed, and he's criticized in other than the narrations of Al-Amash, and what do you call it? One of them, the one in Sunan ibn Abi Asim, it doesn't even mention that he cursed him. But aslan, let's just concede. طيب. Now, let's see what the ulama say on this, because they can say, oh, you don't have any individual gradings of these ahadith, Well, let's see what the ulama say. This is Abu Abbas al-Qurtubi, obviously the author of Tafsir al-Qurtubi, very, very famous. He says in al-Mufhim, which is like a summary of Sahih Muslim. And I'm going to show you the scan on the screen, but I don't have the Arabic, unfortunately. But I'll get the scan in Arabic and I'll present it. He says, on the authority of Muawiyah, that he openly cursed, and insulted him, meaning Ali, because Muawiyah was described in terms of intellect and religion, and dreams and generosity and morals and so on and so forth. But most of what is narrated about it is a lie, and it is not sahih. And if I do recall, when I looked at the Arabic, it says فَأَكْثَرُ ذَلِكَ كَذِب لَا يُصَحْ وَأَصَحُّ مِنْ ذَلِكَ ما روي في صحيح مسلم ما منعك أن تسب أبا تراب. What prevented you from insulting Abu Turab? And we're going to get to this in this series. This is what I recall the Arabic said, but I might be incorrect. You'll see the scan on the screen. That essentially says, and most of what is narrated, is a lie, and it's not sahih. And what is more sahih, or what is the most sahih, is what is narrated in Sahih Muslim from Sa'ad to Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. What prevents you from cursing Abu Turab? And he goes on to mention, this is not a state, and we're going to address this in our series, and I'll bring the same quote in when we go into the narrations of him asking what prevents you from cursing. This is not a statement by cursing, rather it's a question. It's a question. This is what he goes on to say, and you can see the scan on the screen. And Alusi, rahmatullah alayhi, what does he mention? And you'll see the Arabic on screen. What the historians mention is that Muawiyah used to speak to the Amir and show what appears on his right, and speak about what the speakers speak about, and which should not be relied upon or paid attention to. Why? Let's continue. Because historians transmit what is evil and good, and they don't make a distinction between what is sahih and what isn't. The fabricated, and the weak. So the correct ones, and what's the fabricated and the weak, and so on and so forth. So essentially he's saying that they're just collecting what they have, and they don't make a distinction. So you shouldn't pay attention to these, and you shouldn't rely upon them. Here's two scholars, Al-Qurtubi more explicitly weakening everything except for these wordings, which includes everything that's going to come in this series, including these narrations. And Al-Alusi mentions something similar, and he indicates it. Right. Now, this, inshallah, we're gonna split this into a 3-part series. These are only one of a few narrations. You can see how they're all weakened. You could see the scans on the screen. Wassalamun alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.